been a minute since I made a video on the floor. Kendra, it's been a minute since you made a video. And by a minute, I mean a year. And now I come back with a shocking topic for my channel, censorship. Kendra, what are you mad about this time? My childhood. So I grew up with the stories of Roald Dahl, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, James and the Giant Peach, Matilda, you know the stories. What you may or may not know What you may or may not know is that Dahl's estate has issued an apology for Dahl's work and has been working on making them more inclusive. While there is a part of me that can appreciate the motion, because these stories give me a sense of nostalgia and I would love to see future generations be able to enjoy them in the same capacity that I did growing up, I'm also really frustrated. First, by changing the language used within these stories, the estate is effectively working to wipe away the commentary generated by the original story, which also effectively eliminates any room for discussion about what could be potentially offensive or inappropriate about it. For me, removal does not make it better, it just sort of sweeps it under the rug. Generally, I vote keep the offensive content in and add a note at the beginning of the book to address that that piece is a reflection of its time. And there are some parts that may be considered upsetting to some readers. And then open the discussion about why these things might be upsetting. And I feel the need to make the disclaimer that at this point, I do also firmly believe that the estate is itself a business and the copyright holders of these stories. Meaning they're welcome to do whatever they want with the story, especially as it goes into reprint. But that brings me to my next point. This feels especially performative. I know, I disappear for a year, come back sitting on the floor with these hot takes, but hear me out. 2020 is real late in the game to decide we're not gonna be offensive anymore and we're gonna apologize for things. Not only is 2020 really late in the game, but we're talking 30 years after the author died. 30 years later, somebody realized, oh, this is problematic. So I'll be honest, I don't know much about Dahl as a person, but I do know that he was very open about his beliefs. And unfortunately, some of those values were completely terrible. But also, even when he was alive, he was considered problematic by his contemporaries. So why did it take 30 years? So here's my take. And again, I know Kendra just disappears into the ether to return with the hottest of takes. But if we need to take this time to make edits to a deceased writer's works, maybe it's time to simply retire them. That doesn't mean we need to take every Dahl book that we can find and throw it in the trash. That also doesn't mean let's just completely cancel the author, because how do you cancel a dead man anyway, I mean. But if we are concerned about it, let's shift his work to an older age group that can have these critical discussions, that can talk about inclusion and point out what issues might be looming within his works that might be offensive or inappropriate, and why those things are offensive and inappropriate. Personally, I feel like Dahl is absolutely still valuable to look at for his cultural influence, both on my generation and on those previous. But I will say, for the contemporary child, they don't need Dahl. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of amazing children's writers. And these writers are already not problematic, at least for now. Future generations do not need to read the same stories my generation did in the same context, because frankly they aren't living in the same context. So thanks for hanging out with me for the first time in a year. Don't forget to like and subscribe or something. I don't know what YouTubers say. It's been a year since I made a video. Bye. It's a tennis ball. You want it? You want it? Go get it. This is Pugsley.